Sirens blare loudly as I rush through the hospital doors. My husband Mark had been rushed to the emergency room after a serious car accident. But when I found him, he wasn't even in the emergency room. He was being wheeled out. I panicked, rushing towards him. "Mark, what happened? Are you okay?" The nurse glanced at me and shook her head. "Mrs. Jones, your husband is going into surgery. It's critical. There's a good chance he may not make it." I froze, tears welling up. "I need to see him. Please, let me see him." The nurse stopped and turned. "He's awake for a few minutes, just until the anesthesia kicks in. You can say goodbye." As I reached him, Mark stirred. "Lisa, what happened?" "How did I, His voice trailed off, his eyes fluttering closed. "You'll be fine," I whispered, holding his hand. "It's gonna be okay. Just hold on." The last thing I saw was the pain etched on his face before everything went black. As I waited in the corridor outside the operating room, I felt like an eternity passed. When the doors finally opened, I rushed towards them. "How is he? Is he gonna be okay?" The surgeon's somber expression mirrored the grim look of the nurses around him. They shook their heads in unison. My worst nightmare was coming true. There was internal bleeding, We did everything we could. But it appears there was too much damage. "Mrs. Jones? I'm so sorry, but your husband didn't make it." I collapsed, sobbing uncontrollably. My perfect husband, the love of my life, was gone. Days blurred into weeks, and the pain of losing Mark never faded. Yet life somehow moved on. People returned to their routines. The sun still rose and set, and the world kept spinning. But for me, the world had stopped. Then one day, as I was sorting through Mark's belongings, I found something that made my blood run cold. Hidden in the back of his closet was a phone. And when I say hidden, I mean really hidden, There was no way I would have ever found it if I hadn't been Rum family. As I scrolled through Mark's phone, hoping to find answers, I came across a series of messages that shattered any remaining hope I had left. These messages were from a woman who called herself Mark's wife, even though Mark had only ever called me his wife. Who was this woman? Was she Mark's secret lover? The more I dug, the more convinced I became that there was something more to Mark's death, something he had been hiding. I had lost my husband under the shadow of a mystery. Determined to uncover the truth, I decided to return to the hospital where Mark had been taken. Perhaps there was someone who could help me piece together what had really happened. As I stepped into the hospital, the same hospital where I had lost my husband, I couldn't shake off the eerie feeling that something was amiss. Had I really lost Mark? Or was there more to his death than met the eye? The thought of exploring this unsettling possibility both terrified me and filled me with a strange sense of determination. Suddenly, I spotted a nurse who had been working in the emergency room at the time of Mark's admission. Spotting her name tag, I learned her name was Emma, As I approached her, I introduced myself, hoping she might remember treating my husband. "I'm sorry to bother you, but my husband had been in an accident. Do you remember him?" Emma's brow furrowed slightly as she considered. Then her eyes widened in recognition. "Oh yes, Mr. Jones, Of course, Such a shame about the accident, Terrible, terrible business." She paused, her gaze dropping to the floor for a moment. Taking a deep breath, I plunged right into my purpose. Was my husband seeing someone? Did he mention anyone while he was here? Emma looked up sharply, her eyes questioning. "What do you mean?" I pressed on, sensing I was close to the truth. A woman, perhaps, someone he was having an affair with, Did such a woman visit him in the hospital? I could see the conflict raging in Emma's eyes. She bit her lip, clearly struggling with something. Finally, she let out a sigh, defeated. "Yes, there was a woman who visited him. She claimed to be his wife, I gasped, the revelation hitting me like a physical blow. Before I could question further, Emma hurried away, citing another patient she needed to attend to. Left alone, I grappled with what Emma had revealed. Could it be possible that Mark had been leading a double life? Why would there be another woman who knew him intimately enough to visit him in the hospital claiming to be his wife? I had so many questions, but no one to answer them. With my heart pounding in my chest, I decided to confront Mark's mistress, seeking answers that had eluded me for so long, driven by an insatiable curiosity and a desire for closure. I began my search for Mark's mistress. Every lead took me deeper into a labyrinth of half-truths and hidden agendas. The path to uncovering the truth was fraught with deceit, making it challenging to distinguish reality from fabrication. As I navigated this intricate web of lies, I realized that the woman I had known Mark to be had been nothing more than a facade. The man I loved had been living a secret life, one that had remained hidden until now. My investigation led me to a cozy cafe nestled in a quiet corner of the city. This unassuming establishment was supposedly a regular haunt of Mark's mistress. With bated breath, I entered the cafe, my eyes scanning the room for any sign of the woman who had dared to deceive me. Each passing moment was filled with anticipation and dread as I tried to prepare myself for the confrontation that lay ahead. As I sat down, I couldn't help but wonder about the kind of person Mark had been involved with. What had drawn him to this woman? What secrets did she hold that could shatter my world even further? Little did I know the answers I was about to receive would turn my life upside down. The revelations that awaited me were so shocking that I questioned everything I thought I knew about my marriage and the man I had loved. Suddenly, a woman stood up from a table, startling me. She was beautiful, confident, and had an enigmatic charm that was hard to resist. But it was the way she held herself, the subtle gestures and the knowing smile on her lips that betrayed her. This had to be Mark's mistress. Our eyes met and I felt a jolt run through me. In that instant, I knew I had found the woman who had been a part of my husband's life in ways I had never imagined. With a mixture of anger and sadness, I confronted her, demanding answers. The mistress, sensing my pain, hesitated for a moment, torn between her own feelings and the need to be truthful. Finally, she spoke, her voice trembling slightly. "I'm sorry, I never meant for things to end up like this. I didn't know about your marriage." Mark led me to believe that he was single. Her words hung in the air, a feeble attempt to justify her actions. But they did little to alleviate the pain that had become a constant companion of mine. Determined to get to the bottom of this tangled web of deceit, I pressed her for more information. The mistress, with a heavy heart, revealed the extent of her involvement with Mark. Their affair had been passionate, intense, and had lasted for several months. She had fallen deeply in love with him, believing him to be honest and forthcoming. However, when Mark had mentioned his wife, it had seemed as though he was truly unaware of the gravity of their situation. As I listened to her words, I felt a surge of emotions wash over me. Anger, betrayal, confusion, all threatened to consume me. Yet amidst the turmoil, a glimmer of understanding emerged. Mark, with his charming demeanor and loving gestures, had managed to keep his infidelity hidden. He had successfully created a facade, fooling not only me but his mistress as well. But why? Why risk his marriage and expose himself to such emotional turmoil? The mistress, sensing my mounting anger, attempted to explain Mark's behavior. "He was unhappy, Lisa. I could tell even though he tried to hide it. There were long silences, moments when his eyes seemed distant. He spoke of feeling trapped, of dreams that were dying. Her words pierced me like shards of glass. Could it be that my husband, the man I had given my heart to, had been living a life of regret and discontent? Had the spark that had brought us together so long ago started to fade, leading him to seek solace in the arms of another? These questions echoed in my mind, amplifying the torment I already endured. As our conversation drew to a close, I realized the depth of the deception that had been woven into our lives. The image of Mark I had cherished was now tarnished, leaving me with a profound sense of loss and disillusionment. With a heavy heart, I bid farewell to the mistress. Each step I took away from the cafe, bringing me closer to the stark realization of the truth. The life I had envisioned, the dreams we had shared, all of it had been nothing more than a carefully constructed illusion. Now, standing at the edge of this revelation, I was faced with a heart-wrenching decision. Should I forgive Mark? Try to salvage what remained of our marriage? Or should I walk away, choosing to prioritize my own peace and happiness? The weight of this choice threatened to overwhelm me. But amidst the despair, a flicker of strength ignited within me. I knew I couldn't let Mark's deceit define me, break me, I had to rise above the pain and forge my own path forward, But which path to choose? Forgiveness or moving on? The agony of this choice echoed in my soul, a testament to the enduring power of love, loss, and the complexities of the human heart. Now I don't know if I should forgive him or walk away. If you were in my place, what would you do? Tell me in the comments.